Tensura What If? Silver Timeline by CBCTEBAS. Chapter 4 Blanc, John, and Violet. It's been months since Noir fought Argent. After this, swordsmanship has been incorporated into Argent's fighting style. By adding it to his way of fighting, he has been able to win fights from the other two primordial. 2 out of 10 fights he has been able to win from them both. Although, Vert and Blue labeled him as weird in a different way from Noir. Noir is weird in the most literal sense of the word. His goals and actions cannot be comprehended by any of the primordial as well as common demons. While Argent was weird because of his way of fighting. Normally speaking, demons fight using magics, since it is their best and what they are most proficient at. Not saying demons don't use their fist, but their specialty and most like way of fighting is magic. Argent, on the other hand, is more on fighting with his hands. His body has muscle memory of fighting melee battles. If you add sword in the equation, it adds more to his weirdness. Luckily for him, Blue and Vert still treat him how they normally do. Unlike how they act with Noir. In fact, they are even more pumped up to spar with him. Because, unlike before, they are now losing some of their spars. Which lit their competitive spirits to fight more and grow stronger. Over a long period of time he was finally around their level. He can finally proudly declare that he is as strong as a primordial. The trio then heard a massive battle happening a few kilometers from where they are. "Oh, I would never have guessed that their battle could lead them here," said Blue with an amused tone. "Well, if you consider just how much they fight and how they don't care about boundaries when fighting," added Vert. After their small idle chatter, the 3 demons that are fighting are getting closer to them. One of them got thrown directly towards Blue's group, only having 100 meters in distance to where the demon was thrown. "Hey John, long time no see," said Blue while waving her hand. "Oh. Blue and Vert, it has been a while, hasn't it?" John first got angry someone was talking to her using an informal tone. But quickly returned to normal seeing who it was. A fellow primordial. "Well, anyway, I'll talk to you later, got to go bye." Without even hearing a response, she quickly flew to where the battle was happening. "So, I'm guessing that was," Argent said. "The yellow primordial, John," interrupted Vert. "That's right, and the other 2 who are fighting with her are Violet and Blanc, they are also primordials," added Blue while pointing at the battle. While they talk, the battle in the distance was nearing its climax. Boom boom boom, all 3 primordial having battered appearance, they are also nearing the end of their magicules. That was why they all took distance from each other and then each one activated their own magic. The demon that had the appearance of a small girl with purple hair with a ponytail tied to the side said, "Nuclear magic, nuclear flame." The demon with an appearance of a teenage girl with shoulder-length blonde hair said, "Nuclear magic, gravity collapse." The demon with an appearance of a young woman in her 20s with white hair said, "Nuclear magic, death streak." As those 3 all toss their nuclear magic at each other. Do boo mmm. The surrounding 25 kilometers got completely decimated. All the lesser demons, even greater demons that were in the area, all got killed in an instant. As for Blue, Vert, and Argent, they only protected themselves by placing multiple barriers on where they stand. "So basically you're one of us? Is that right?" asked the curious John. After the battle ended, the 3 demonists went to where the other 3 were. There, they found out about Argent. Which is why Argent is explaining himself again for the 3rd time. Well, I've met like what? 6 of them, so if I do meet the last one, it will also be the last time that I'll be explaining myself." "Interesting. We are similar and not at the same time." Blanc was observing Argent while muttering to herself. Violet was tugging Argent's sleeves to get his attention. When Argent looked to her direction, she smiled. "Can we fight?" she said with the most innocent-looking smile. Although, for those who know her, she is anything but innocent. "I also want to fight you." John joined in. Blanc was looking while smiling, like it was a given that she would also fight Argent. As such, Argent agreed, forced to fight the 3 demonists. And so, the fight, torture, began for Argent, which lasted several hours. After the demon trio finally had their fill of fighting, torturing, Argent requested that they teach him some of their techniques. They all agreed, considering besides fighting each other, they all had nothing better to do. And so, the demon trio stayed with Argent's group for the time being. Argent was learning different things from each of the three primordials, each one being a unique trait of them. Violet the primordial purple was teaching Argent about using poisonous skills. Luckily for Argent, toxins is an extra skill of depravity, same with corrosion and corrupt. With this, he was able to take note on how poison, or in this case toxins, can be used in battles. Also, he didn't ask for it, but he also learned how to torture people. If you're going to learn how to use poisons and how to torture people, you should try them yourself. Experience is the best teacher after all, Violet said while poisonous snake-like beings started appearing near her. Wah. That was all Argent was able to let out, before he was attacked and basically turned into toxic waste after an hour. Extra skill: poison resistance acquired. Listen, okay. Poison is not only used to kill your enemies, but to make them suffer as well. Unlike some magics and weapons, poison, depending on the amount, is a slow process, which will make them suffer, Violet was stating. While Argent was screaming in pain being covered and injected with poison. My way of fighting is basically just clumping together large amount of magicules and throwing it. See? John created a small magicule orb that seems to be about to explode. She threw it afar, boom, after which an explosion that was more than 10 meters in height appeared. Anyway, what I'll be teaching you is nuclear magic, so watch closely, okay? She turned back to Argent. Understood. That was all Argent could say after he just saw someone basically throwing a bomb like it was a random rock. Most people find the magic formula for nuclear magic to be extremely difficult, even labeling it near impossible to do it alone. John said, teaching Argent. Luckily for us demons, even more so, is the epitome of being a demon. We can easily use them with enough understanding of its concept. Argent nodded, listening intently to John's words. Anyway, I'll show you the formulas to the nuclear magics that I know. They can't be learned in just a day, so take your time. John made multiple magic circles and formulas. And Argent began studying them. Unlike John, I'll teach you how to make complex magics that are convenient when fighting others. I'll also teach you a way to quickly dispose of small fry enemies by just killing their souls, Blanc said with a smile. Well, for now, we will spar. I'll show you how to use magic while fighting, she added. Understood, said Argent. Argent spared with Blanc. He was mainly dodging Blanc's attacks while studying them. That was the main objective of this lesson. The other objectives is learning ways to dodge or counter the magic used, as well as understanding the correct magics to use in certain situations. As for the way to kill someone via soul, let's see. Oh, perfect timing. Blanc saw a pack of lesser demon about 1 kilometer away. Demise. While pointing at them, Blanc casted her spell. Suddenly all of the demons dropped to the ground. There were no wounds whatsoever. They all just died, simple as that. Well, it's something like that. What do you think? Blanc said, looking at Argent. Looks really efficient, Argent replied. It took a few years, but the demon trio finally said their farewell. They never really like staying in a group with other primordial in a long amount of time. They just meet each other to fight when they are bored, which is, always. Argent, with all of the knowledge they taught him, was stronger than ever before. Blue and Vert were getting jealous that they weren't teaching Argent, so they also joined in, teaching him abilities that were unique or well known to themselves. Argent continued to train using the techniques and abilities that he has learned. Decades passed and he separated himself with Blue and Vert. It's not because he got bored of them. He just wanted to travel alone like how he used to in the past. After saying his farewell, he went on a journey of his own. Weeks have passed since leaving. Argent was devouring a demon's soul. It was bright. The ceiling of the room was being brightened by a light bulb. He was small, he was crying, he couldn't see well, but he was able to make out what he was seeing. The face that he saw was a man wearing a white coat, and he was passed to another person. This time a woman was carrying him. Tears were flowing from her eyes. Dear, what should we name him? A voice was heard, it was masculine. He saw a man looking at the woman with a smile on his face. Well, let's see. How about Satoru? Mikami Satoru. The woman said, looking at the baby. Hey, Mom, is that my baby brother? A small child was talking excitedly. He was looking at the baby with star in his eyes. Yes, his your baby brother say hi. Hello Satoru, I'm your big brother. Underscore. Ag another one. This happened again? Why now? Was it the demon's soul again? Is it an ability of mine? Argent was extremely confused. This already happened for the second time. It must mean something. He hasn't heard an announcement from Val, which means it's not an ability or skill. Satoru. Where have I heard of that? Satoru, Satoru, Satoru. He was trying to recall. Somehow the name Satoru was giving him a nostalgic feel. Unfortunately, nothing was remembered, nor did he found out anything about why it happens. Well, let's learn as we go. That was what Argent thought.